here today. We are talking with Kendra Goering, and she is the team lead for collegiate campuses in Chicago for Navigators Chicago. So, Kendra, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Hey, we are sitting here talking while, and this is the way of life, right? Your girls are napping. You're still trying to do work. We're trying to have a call here. And so, how is life with you and your husband and things going on these days?
We are making it work. It's a weird year for sure, but it helps that both Nate and I have flexible-ish jobs where we can
Yeah,
hop on calls when we can and go to campus when we can, and
yeah.
we're making it work.
Got it. Now, is Nate, your husband, still going on campus or not anymore?
He's not. He works with the Navigators some, but he's full-time with our church.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And then for you is now, for those who may not know you, how old are your girls?
I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Got it. Okay. And so, how much of your time, how are you able to balance between being at home with the girls, making sure the girls are taken care of, and then still jumping on campuses throughout
Yeah.
as campuses have started?
Every semester has looked different. This one is especially different because most of what we do is virtual. And so I tend to schedule meetings with students or Bible discussions at times when the girls are in bed or when Nate can be home. And then we do get some childcare on Tuesday morning. So I was on campus this morning while Nate was also at work, and we make it work.
Yeah. So Kendra, for those who may not know, when we talk about collegiate campuses, which college campuses or university campuses are you guys currently on?
We're currently only on UIC's campus, and we have 5 staff. That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
5 staff and we're all at UIC.
Yep. And with the Navigators, is it similar to like an InterVarsity group? Because I was part of InterVarsity where you have large group meetings, or do you have primarily Bible studies? How does that work?
Yeah, we've done different things. Right now, we're doing mostly small group discussion groups, and our ministry is mostly focused on reaching people who don't know much about the Bible or about Jesus. And so our discussion groups are very exploratory in nature. So we have a group that's meeting called What Do You Believe? And people can come, it's a Zoom call currently, and share about their beliefs. And we share some about Christianity and read some of the Bible with them. But we do large group meetings when we're able to, but this year we're not really able to.
Got it. Now with Kendra, a lot of times there's NSO or new student outreach where you're able to promote your group, your organization. How did things change as people started on campus? Like UIC, are they is it online? Is it hybrid, or what's happening there?
It's hybrid this semester, and so there are students on campus, but most are choosing to take their classes online. So we went back and forth about we call it fall launch, where we kind of launch into the year and what that should look like. And we decided in August to be on campus, and we made these COVID kits where we handed out hand sanitizer and masks. And then we had a little flyer in there that students, they had a QR code and they could fill out a survey for us if they were interested. And we actually met a lot of new students. We didn't expect to meet any new students this year, but we did.
So really the QR codes, was there a good response with the QR codes?
There was.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So they filled out information. I think people are looking for community.
Yeah.
And so we've been surprised by how many new students and former students have hopped on Zoom calls, even though they're on Zoom all day. and we have done some in-person things. This Saturday, we're going to do a taco crawl in Pilsen where we'll kind of spread out and go to some different taco restaurants with students so that they can meet each other in person, because some of them have never met.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned it's you and you have a team of 5 primarily at UIC campus.
Yes.
Are many of them new? Or are they men, women? Tell me about your team.
Everyone on our team has been around for multiple years now. 2 of them graduated from UIC, and one became a Christian through the Navigators at UIC. And another would say that the Navigators were really instrumental in his faith as well during his time as a student. And then there are 2 who moved here from other states to join what we're doing.
Got it. Kendra, I hear your daughter's in the background, so hopefully
Yeah,
if it gets
that's
too much, let
fine.
me know.
It's totally fine. They're good.
Yeah. And so with I know your life is, especially with you and the other staff, it's constantly raising support, everything like that. Has it been hard? I know a lot of times you have a good network and good church. How does that look like for the other people on your team?
Yeah, it's been hard for some, harder for some than others. I come from a Christian home, a supportive family background that is used to the idea of support raising, but others on our team do not, and
Yeah.
they're first generation Christians or first generation college students. And so the idea of raising individual support is a hurdle for sure.
Got it, got it, got it.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of times, especially even talking with my African American friends or Latino friends, it's actually much harder for them, especially in the African American church, raising support to go on a campus or navigate or something. It could be pretty hard and a hard discussion.
Yes, definitely. It's a foreign idea
Yeah.
in their communities, and we have tried different things, like even sharing our support that we raise
Yeah.
individually. We have a collective account that we try to give toward for when certain people are in deficit. But it's a hurdle, definitely.
Yeah. Because as the team leader, there's a responsibility that you feel to really be able to care for those guys. And you and
Hmm.
I talked about it. You have been blessed in terms of people. You have a network that blesses you and supports you. And some of them now is trying to help them develop that support, but they also have to make a living as well too to survive in the city, which is not
Yeah.
cheap.
No, it's not. And there are added stressors that make it difficult to do ministry in the city, and finances are definitely a big part of that.
Got it.
Hmm.
With your team of five, is it in terms of mixture of culture, or is it primarily Asian? Do you have African Americans, Latinos? What's the makeup of the team?
With our team of five currently, it's white and Haitian American.
Ah,
Hmm.
interesting.
But
Got
in
it.
previous years, we've had different makeups as well. And then we have volunteers who are working with us, who are working jobs and then volunteer
Yeah,
big portions of their time.
yeah.
And we have a, a man who's originally an international student from India, and he volunteers a lot with us, um, which is really wonderful.
Well, for those who are listening to this, I think a lot of times for me in the world of support, sometimes it is hard working through a church, especially if you're not a member of the church, to try to make inroads to it, to go through the missions committee and ultimately the pastor of it. And so, with all of the different restrictions, and especially if you are just beginning a Christian, it is hard to really be able to gain that support. And if you don't come from a Christian family where they're so used to supporting, it also becomes harder to get on campus as well too. So
Definitely.
I mean, Kendra, you've done a great job of just supporting them and coming alongside the rest of your team.
Thanks.
With your team, how are you able to care for them during this time? What's been important as you guys have talked during this COVID time? College campuses look different. What
Hmm.
does team dynamics look like? Team caring look like during this time?
Yeah. Well, I think that we've seen that unity is really important during this year, and there's a lot of disunity in the world and the American church right now. And so we have spent a lot of time praying together and seeking God together. We have a weekly, actually an every other week, staff training time where we're discussing issues of race and also spiritual warfare, and it's a time when we can be honest about things going on in our lives and in our hearts
Yeah,
regarding current events. And then also, every staff person is met with by some sort of mentor,
got it.
and that's really important. From the bottom to the top, everybody has
Yeah.
someone that they are connecting with. And then the Navigators also offers some counseling services that we're able to use if we need. So it's definitely a different type of year. We're trying to have fun together as well. So we're
Yeah,
um, gonna go out to dinner this week and spend time together, not talking about work, but just being together and having
got it.
authentic community.
Now, Kendra, is that when you say team, is it the Navigators Chicago team or more so you and your collegiate team?
More so the collegiate team, but the people who are mentoring our team are often from the broader Chicago
Got it.
network. Hmm.
Got it. Yeah. What you say a lot of times is as a team atmosphere, a lot of times people have been talking about mental health and spiritual health. And a lot of times the whole idea of spiritual formation. How does that play into some of the discussions that you guys have as a team?
It is so important because we can only give what we've received. And
Mhm.
so I think our own spiritual health and emotional health right now is very vital. So we we do not want to be people who are just here to perform and drive ourselves into the ground. And so we want to be sensitive to when God is asking us to rest, when God is asking us to take a break and to breathe, and then to take care of our own physical health right now too is important. So yeah, it's a high value, I would say.
As the team leader, do you find yourself spending more time with your five staff or do you spend also time on college campuses with the students?
Mostly with the staff, but I do try to always keep a foot in the door with students because that's why I'm here.
Got
So
it.
I've been joining our international student discussion group. We've been, let's see, do I have the book? We've been reading a book together called Foreign to Familiar,
Got
and
it.
it's about culture. And the hope is that the students would be able to share about their own cultures.
Yeah.
We have a lot of different countries represented in that group, and then we also share about American culture and try to bridge the gap for them so
Yeah.
that they feel at home. And it's been really sweet to hear from them and learn from them and develop relationships with those students.
Yeah. Now, Kendra, it seems like you guys have multiple groups. So you have an international group, and what other groups do you guys have?
We have one for people who would not identify with as Christians at all, and that's the What Do You Believe group.
Mhm.
And they meet on Wednesdays. And then we have two different groups that meet, and those are more Bible study
Mhm.
type groups for Christians or people who grew up in the church. One is called Building Kingdom Character, and it's looking at a book about what it means to follow Jesus.
Got it. Now, Kendra, I mean, for you as team lead, are you guys looking for volunteers? If people are listening to this, they want to volunteer. It says, Kendra, I would love to help, whether it's with your international group or What Do You Believe group or building kingdom characters. Can they volunteer at all?
Definitely, especially right now with things being over Zoom, it's really easy for visitors to hop on and then to potentially develop relationships with individual students.
Yeah.
A lot of what we do as navigators is discipling in a one-to-one setting, and so there are often way more students than staff. And it's great to have volunteers who have a heart for students who would be interested in having a student in their home and connecting with them.
Got it. I know you also raise money as a team as well too. As we head into the year, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Is there a number you guys are hoping to raise? Is there something you're hoping to really work on in terms of number?
I don't have a specific number for you. This year is so different. We aren't doing very many in-person larger events, and so it's been hard to figure out a budget for what our needs are. So we've been more focusing on our individual support. Although in the summer we're hoping to kind of reboot our summer program that we do for
Yeah.
students, and we did a very small one this last summer, even in the midst of COVID. But we'll see how things go. But that is a bigger expense that we have. Mhm.
Got it. Kendra, if they want to find more information about you personally and follow you on your journey, where can they locate that at?
Well, they could email me at kendra@chicagonavs.org, and I could add them to our update email list. Also on Instagram and Facebook, Kendra Goering is my name. And if they wanted to message me and hear more, I also have a prayer page on Facebook
Yeah.
where they could follow along in what we're doing.
Got it. Well, Kendra, you know my brother better than and I've gotten to know you a little bit. For you and your family, do you live in the South Loop or University Village?
We live in Pilsen, which is
Okay.
just south of University Village. Mhm.
Yeah. For those who are not familiar with Pilsen, what is something unique about Pilsen that they have to just visit? And what is a restaurant that they just have to visit and go to in Pilsen?
Oh man. Well, there are so many great restaurants all along 18th Street, mostly Mexican food, and it's delicious. So I really like a tamale restaurant called Evelina's Tamales, and
Mm,
it's on 18th and Halsted.
got it.
Yeah, we love living here.
Yep, yep, yep. Well, I got to visit you guys in Pilsen. I haven't been there too much. There
Yeah.
used to be a great Korean fried chicken place over at Pilsen.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yep. And
Yeah.
there was I've been there a couple times, a good carnitas place over at Pilsen as well too.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Kendra. And for more information on Chicago Navigators, go to chicagonavs.org. That's
Mhm.
chicagonavs.org. And thank you for giving me a couple minutes while your kids, hopefully, I did not wake them up.
Nope,
So
they're good. Yeah.
we'll talk soon, Kendra.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.